Thank you.
Hey guys, it's Jeff Keighley. We are a minute away from the reveal of Crash 4. Before we get to that, I want to thank Outer Wilds for that incredible musical performance. Crash is coming right up. Alf, yes, that Alf will be joining us. And we also have Day of the Devs, produced by Double Fine and I Am 8-Bit. Look at a ton of interesting, progressive, artistic, independent games across the entire game industry. You'll see first look trailers, brand new footage, and some really interesting games you may not have heard of, but I think you're going to like over an hour of content.
Verano para jugar, auspiciado
Right now, things are
por
getting
Claro, la
started
red más
with
poderosa.
the
Y
reveal
recuerden
and
que
first
después
look
estaremos
at
en
Crash
vivo
4.
nuevamente
Enjoy.
presentando la conferencia de Apple, también presentado por Claro, la red más poderosa.
Hey guys, it's Jeff Keighley. Welcome to Summer Game Fest. We've got a great show kicking off this week for you. I'm really excited to be doing yet another week of video game announcements. And one of the things... What is that sound outside?
I've got an extra special package for Geoff. Geo-Fef Keglegs. I'm just messing with you. Jeff Keighley, come on out.
Not this again. I'm in the middle of a live stream right now. This guy always crashing my important shows. I'm going to see what this is, but let me tell you, it better be worth it. Crash, I really don't want the dirt that you have on Cortex.
No. This is the Crash 4 trailer.
For real?
For reals.
Well, it's about time.
Exactly.
Crash Bandicoot, you banished me to the past. But all it did was give me more time to plan your doom.
How many times have you beaten this clown anyway?
3.
Really? Only 3? Funny. Seemed like more.
That's right. There's the big news. Crash 4, a brand new Crash game. It is coming this October. And right now I am joined by Paul from Toys for Bob to tell us about the brand new Crash game. Paul, we have been waiting for so long for something new from Crash. Of course, Activision has done some amazing remasters of the Crash trilogy and CTR, but this is a brand new Crash game built from the ground up.
That's right. It's hard to believe, but it's been over 10 years since we've seen an original new entry into the series. So I'm delighted to finally unveil this secret that we've been sitting on for a while. It's the brand new Crash 4. It's about time, and it's a play on the fact that we've been waiting for so long, but also it's a game that's literally about time.
Yeah, I want to get into it because the trailer is filled with so much information. I mean, playable Neo Cortex, Coco, Crash, but I'm curious, like what you guys had worked on, the remasters of Crash, but now to start with a new game, there's I'm sure so much trepidation about like what's going to be a worthy follow on, calling it Crash 4. How did you guys approach this? Like, what kind of game did you want to build?
Yeah, I guess the first thing is we asked ourselves, where did we want to start? And though technically this is the 8th game in this series, all of the fan reception that was coming out of the Insane trilogy, we wanted to go back to the original trilogy and start from that. We're deliberately calling this Crash 4 because we want to key it off of the original trilogy that was developed by Naughty Dog. And that was certainly a high point in the series, both critically and commercially. And so that's where the events are going to key off of. We're starting right at the end of that when Dr. Neocortex, Entropy, and Uka Uka have been banished to this distant planet. And they finally found a way, after many fruitless attempts, they found a way to break out. And in doing so, they've torn this gigantic hole in the universe and exposed the fact that there's a multiverse. So it's going to be up to the Bandicoots, Crash and Coco, to restore that order by reuniting the 4 great quantum masks.
The gameplay style, I think, a lot of people were probably wondering, hey, Crash in 2020, how much of it is, the more linear, classic Crash levels, and of course now, like, people wonder, like, is it an open world Crash game? How are you doing it? Like, tell us about balancing kind of the old style of gameplay, which is certainly not broken. We love it, versus the tendency to do, new styles of gameplay. Based on the trailer, it looks like you're being kind of still faithful to the original style of Crash versus making it some big, 3D open world. But is that correct? Like, how did you approach the actual style of the gameplay?
Yeah, that's absolutely right. I think what we've heard was that people have found that style of gameplay to be really refreshing to return to. And so we wanted to key off of that. And when we observe some of the other games and platformers and how they've evolved over time, you're totally right. They've gone to a place where they're a little bit more open in nature. And as a consequence, the challenges and things that you interact with are a little bit more sparse and spread out. It encourages exploration, and maybe there's a little bit more focus on collection and combat. But when we think about classic Crash gameplay, it's dense and it's focused, and it's really the streams of hazards and the challenges, the platforming challenges, they come, and there's almost a rhythmic quality to it and how reliable it is. And I know that for me, when I learn a level and I understand the nuance of the timing and the placement of all the different hazards, you can enter into a sort of flow state when you understand that kind of musicality.
Multiple playable characters. How are you doing that? Is it kind of like by level, or how, like we saw Coco and Neo playable in there? How does that work sort of in the scheme of the gameplay?
So Crash and Coco, you're going to be able to choose between them at any point in time, and they share the same moveset. Over the course of the adventure, you're going to encounter some new friends, some familiar faces, and you're right, there's going to be some new playable characters. We're teasing today Dr. Neocortex. He's got a completely different moveset from Crash and Coco. So where the Bandicoots kind of barrel through and they've got the ability to spin and slide and belly slam, Dr. Neocortex is he's a little bit more of a cerebral character. He's a mad scientist, he's got inventions, and he relies on his intellect. So he's got a ray gun that he carries around with him. And that ray gun has the ability to transmogrify hazards and enemies into platforms. And he can choose between changing them into a static solid platform or a bouncy platform that gives him access to higher elevations. So his gameplay and the levels that are built specifically for his moveset is going to be a completely different flavor. It's going to be a little bit more strategic, a little bit more cerebral. Yeah. And I think players are going to have to be a little bit more thoughtful about when to encounter a hazard, whether or not to change it into a platform, and what type of platform they're going to need at that point in the obstacle.
Wow. It seems ambitious that you're adding more elements to it. And then also you mentioned the masks. How do those work?
So the quantum masks, there's 4 of them in this game. And over the course of the adventure, they're scattered across the universe. You're going to have to rescue them from the clutches of certain bosses, both familiar and new. The quantum mask, 2 of them that we're talking about today, is the time mask and the gravity mask. And masks in this franchise, they've got a lot of personality. They've got their own names and their own voices and their own powers. So the time mask, her name is Kapunawa. And when Crash uses Kapunua, he's got the ability to slow down time to a crawl. So for obstacles that are beyond, just way too fast to interface with at normal speeds, he's going to be able to slow things down and then get past those obstacles. And in addition to that, he'll be able to get past nitro crates, which have traditionally been a one-hit, one-kill type of thing. But with the power of time, he's going to be able to slow things down, trigger that explosive, and then get out just barely before that explosion obliterates everything in its path. The second mask is the gravity mask, and his name is Ika Ika. So when Crash dons on Ika Ika, he's going to be able to flip the direction of gravity and walk on the top of ceilings, walk upside down underneath platforms to get past impossible obstacles.
I'm really excited to play this, and again, I was playing Crash back when the original PlayStation first came out, and you know, Activision's done a great job with the remasters, but to have a totally new game, I think, is what everyone was hoping for, and you're bringing it to life. So congrats for doing this, and thanks for doing it even from a work from home situation. It's awesome to see, and can't wait to get to play it later this year.
Thanks for having me. It's a great pleasure, and I think it's an exciting time for games, and I'm so glad that we could reintroduce Crash, a new version and a new adventure at this time.
All right, there you have it, Crash 4. We've got Day of the Devs coming up shortly, but right now we are going to introduce you to Summer Game Fest's tech correspondent. He is joining us from lockdown, and I'm really excited about this. Please give a warm welcome to Alf. Alf, how is your lockdown going?
You want to talk lockdown? I'll give you lockdown. For the past 30 years, I've spent every day hiding from the United States government. So I've got some stay-at-home gaming tips for Summer Game Fest. Are you ready? Here they are. Tip number 1. Clean off all the fur from your controller every 20 minutes. Because there's nothing worse than getting your analog sticks jammed up with hair. Okay? That's a good one. Tip 2. Don't charge your controller in the microwave. Bad idea. Learn that one the hard way. Tip number 3. Don't play Warzone with E.T. All right? He cheats, he's a sore loser, and he doesn't know how to use airstrikes. Just doesn't understand it. Okay. Tip 4, don't wear pants. Embrace the freedom. And with that, it's time to raid someone's stream.
No, Alf, we've got a whole Day of the Devs thing still to go. We are certainly not done yet.
Oh, I think you've been done ever since that Doritos segment. Can I get some F's in chat for Kaylee's career?
It's Keeley, not Kaylee, Alf. But thanks. Summer Game Fest tech correspondent, Alf. Thanks for joining us, Alf. We'll see you a little later. Right now, though, we have a special announcement about something coming new to Smite. Check it out.
This world is in trouble.
We can't let this happen. They need our help.
All right, coming up next is Day of the Devs, but I understand, Alf, you wanted to come back on the stream already.
Since I have to stream for 24 hours on Twitch to become a partner, I might as well burn a few more minutes now.
Okay, what did you have in mind, Alf?
I want to talk to you about your fancy game consoles, because on Melmac, we were far more advanced in gaming technology. When I attended Reform School, I majored in software development, where I created what you Earthlings called Hatsune Miku. And no, it's not a sake.
Alf, we've got Day of the Devs coming up. Could you cut to the chase?
So I have to admit, I was a little confused last week when I was watching the PlayStation 5 stream and I saw everybody oohing and eyeing about all those fancy graphics. All right, now don't get me wrong. The cat in Stray looked very nice. So realistic, I could almost smell the barbecue sauce. You guys might think Horizon Forbidden West and Gran Turismo 7 look great. Ha! Ha! On Melmac, our cave paintings had more pixels. And in our version of Grand Theft Auto, you actually did real time. Yeah. So I still have 3 stars above my head in the Andromeda Galaxy, just to let you know. I hope you guys keep improving your games, and one day, when the fur technology is good enough, maybe I will finally make my triumphant return to video games. Now, if you have any ideas, my DMs are always open, at least as soon as my account is unsuspended. Now it's time for the Day of the Devs Developer Showcase, looking at a series of inspiring new independent games. Enjoy the show and the rest of summer.
Ok, el livestream es presentado por Claro, la red más poderosa. Regresaremos en varios minutos para presentarle lo próximo de Apple. Así que hasta la próxima.